Hello.
Hi, what's up?
First things first, I want to clear the air. Somebody just made something up in your chat. I didn't donate nothing to Vosh. It was somebody we didn't even know who it was. I keep asking them to announce themselves, reveal themselves, so I can honor them, give them a badge of medal, give them a
Okay,
medal of honor. You know what I'm saying?
gotcha. Well, what's up? What do you want to
Okay,
chat about?
Destiny. Okay, Destiny. I want to have a nice, civil, relaxed, respectful conversation. But what I want
Okay.
to talk to you about is here's what I am confused about, Destiny.
hmm
I'm gonna admit something. I only found out about your existence maybe a year or two ago. Were you a
Okay.
Bernie Sanders supporter?
Um,
2016.
in 2016, yeah, I think I was, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
2016.
in 2016, yeah, I think I was, yeah.
Wait, hold on. This is
Okay.
fucking feedback. Okay. There we go. Okay, you were a Bernie Sanders supporter, right?
In 2016, I'm almost
But
positive
yet
I
you
was, like pretty hardcore. Yeah.
side with the establishment and you deny that they rigged the election against Bernie in 2016, and now we're seeing they did the same shit in 2020. So why do you come to these conclusions, Destiny?
Well, they definitely didn't rig it in 2016. I don't know
But
what you mean.
but
Well,
but well, they didn't
wait. Oh,
technically
wait, wait,
rig
wait, wait,
it,
wait.
but you know what I
Okay, hold
mean.
on, hold on. Yeah, well, because that means that word means a lot. And they definitely didn't do anything in 2020. I know there was some impropriety that happened with the emailing of the questions to Hillary's campaign,
But that's a little
which was a bit.
political correct way for saying they fucking rigged it, right? You and both that I know, they just that whole thing was
Can
fucking
you real
rat
quick?
fucked.
Can you say rigged it? Can you tell me what you mean when you say that? Just so we're on the same page.
They used unfair institutional means and with the collaboration of the mainstream media to intervene into the democratic process, just like they allege Russia intervened in the
When
democratic
you
process to get
say
Trump.
wait,
Why are
okay,
you
let's not
interrupting
wait.
me? I
wait.
don't want to interrupt you. Do you want to interrupt me? Because we can interrupt each other.
Yeah, actually, if I say something, if I say something and you disagree with what I say, interrupt me immediately. So
Okay,
go on.
okay. I love that. I love that. Love you
Yeah.
for that.
Okay. Yeah.
Vosh was different, dude. Vosh was complaining the whole time, and I really love you for that, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
When you say like used institutional means to rig, I'm just being razor clear. Like, what do you mean by that?
Okay, well, basically, in 2016, for
hmm
example, WikiLeaks told us that the DNC was passing stuff to CNN or the vice versa. I don't fucking know
Yeah, that
how it
happened
comes.
once from the email. They were emailing them like the questions in the preparation for the debate or whatever, which they definitely should have been doing. Right? Somebody got fired for that. Is it
Right.
Donna Brazil? That name always comes up, but I don't know if I'm.
But why do you deny that there's an establishment? Because isn't that a clear indication there's a real like vested establishment and institutionalized interests?
Yeah, that was Donna. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is to some extent, but to what extent it can control like the opinions of the public, I don't know about that. I don't know if you would have needed to rig an election against Bernie when Hillary was already more, um, when Hillary was already like the more popular candidate.
Well, I'm not saying the entire reason Bernie lost was because they rigged it against him. I'm
Mhm.
just trying to say that wasn't that an example? The way in which they overwhelmingly came together and intervened in the electoral process, much like how they allege Russia did the same thing in 2016 in favor of Trump. Why didn't that push you? I'm not saying push you further to the left because
Wait,
I
so real
get,
quick, you
yeah.
keep saying it's not comparable to the Russia stuff at all,
Why not?
because it's a totally separate thing.
Why is
It's
it separate?
My understanding was that Bernie's offices were never penetrated by a hacker trying to selectively leak information to damage his campaign. If this happened, I just don't know about it. But I've never heard that claim ever before. So I
But you
don't think
don't
it's
think
the
the
same.
mainstream media was changing people's views in a rat fuckery type way and spinning things in a misinformed way against
So
Bernie?
whether or not the media is spinning things or trying to influence people, of course, they're the media. That's their
Why
job.
isn't
This
that
is
intervention?
Wait, this is a fundamentally different claim than the one about Russia.
But
I'm
how
just
did
saying.
Russia intervene then? Because all the Russian bots were allegedly doing was spreading memes and shit.
So the two biggest familiarities I am with how Russia intervened is that one, there was a hacking, not attempt, there was a hack at the DNC offices that caused emails to be leaked in a timely manner.
WikiLeaks, yeah, right?
Yeah, to maximum. Well, the Guccifer guy that passed them on to WikiLeaks
Yeah.
that caused emails to be leaked in a politically fashionable manner to the media over the course of like a year or more.
Yeah, of course.
That was one thing that happened. And the second thing that happened was that Russia was setting up companies in the United States to falsely disseminate information in an attempt to undermine our political system. And this was done via the IRS, the IRA, the Internet Research Agency, according to the Mueller indictments. Those are two things that, to my understanding, the Democrats have never done anything comparable to that to Bernie's campaign, which is why I don't like the comparison.
Okay. Regarding the first thing about the leaks, though, were you glad the leaks happened?
No.
You weren't glad that they happened, but all they did was reveal the truth.
Getting truth from just one side is not the truth.
We wouldn't know. We wouldn't know about the way the Democrats fucked over Bernie were it not for those leaks. We would still be in the dark speculating. We know concretely now that they were all using their forces to tilt it in favor of Hillary as an institutionalized vested interest.
Well, what examples of this do we have beyond the passing the email questions on from Donna?
You got me there. I don't have anything off the top of my head. Yeah. I just know that, everyone knows they were rat fucking in favor of him, Well, yeah, but nobody seems to know what they actually did wrong, which is interesting to me. When I can point to very specific things that Russia was not only alleged to have done wrong, Destiny, this is the problem, Destiny. If I had time to prepare for this, which I didn't, I didn't even know I was debating you tonight, but if I had time, I'd be able to compile some facts and some examples of how they were doing it. But that's just the most famous and well-known one.
Well, yeah, sure. We don't have to get like super into it because I don't want to get into like the weeds on this. That's fine. I know who knows. Because maybe you're right. Maybe you just don't have the facts offhand. That's fine.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that in general, I don't think it should be too disagreeable to say that Russia interference attempts were a bit more on the nose than the media being biased.
What did Russia's interference amount to? It amounted to what? So far, you mentioned they were just telling the truth, revealing the truth. And what else?
Do you think that? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If let's say that there are two teachers in a classroom and they conduct class in a certain way. If I leak one teacher's personal information, do you think that's good that I've told the truth?
No, Destiny. Leaking the inner workings of a political machine is nowhere near comparable to leaking personal.
But it was only one political machine. Do you not see the problem with that?
The Democrats, but that's not comparable to leaking personal information. If we live in a democracy like
it's
how
not
you
about
say we are.
wait. So
why are you against transparency of our democratic institutions? Aren't we a democracy?
Because transparency of one side is not transparency.
Yes, it is, Destiny. Just because they didn't leak the Republican stuff doesn't mean they didn't tell the truth and revealed how the Democrats, were rat fucking Bernie, pretty much. And I'm at a loss.
Let's
How did Russia concretely intervene?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Let's say that you have two people running for an election and both of them murder one person, and we find out through leaks that we know that one of them is a murderer, and everybody decides to vote for the other person. Was transparency good in that way or not?
Here's the issue with that comparison.
Wait.
Yeah, there's two issues with the comparison.
Can you just answer the comparison?
No, I'm gonna develop the argument. There's two issues with the comparison, Destiny. The first issue is that it's too personalized. We're dealing with institutions that deal with society as a democracy, so it's too personalized. It's a minor issue. The second issue is that would make more sense if the guy who won in the Republicans' case was a vested by establishment. I know people are like, Trump's the establishment too, but he's not part of the political establishment. Trump won the Republican primary. It's not like Jeb Bush won. So it would be more relevant if Jeff Bush won, because then it would say, the Republicans rigged it in favor of the established vested interests. But Trump, I know he's part of the elite and stuff or whatever, but as far as the Republican Party is concerned, he was definitely a political outsider. So that's what I consider the difference to be.
Okay, none of this has anything to do with my question.
Why not?
My question is, two people are running for office. They're both murderers. And information is leaked that shows you that one of them was a murderer. So everybody votes for the other guy.
What's the murder in this case? What's the crime?
Murder.
No. What is your analogizing?
Okay,
with
I just
murder?
want you to know. So I'm trying to be. 2021 is the year of me trying to be more rhetorically effective. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what's going on in my head right now. Okay. In my head, I feel like you know that you have utterly lost this point, so you're refusing to engage.
Destiny, you didn't address my 2 points. I won this point.
You can't answer this.
You didn't address my points. I raised 2 points you didn't address.
Honestly, it makes it feel like you know.
Dude, Destiny, your examples sucked. Your examples suck, dude. Don't say you won this point.
That's fine if my example sucked. You should still be able to engage with it. Maybe
okay, I'll engage with it. What was your example? Okay. If one person murdered and the other one didn't, but what if we know it's plain as day, much more likely that the person where it was leaked murdered it. It's not likely the other person murdered anyone, just like it's not likely
Wait,
that the
so are you
Republicans
saying-
rigged it in
so are
favor
you
of
saying-
Trump. It is not likely that the Republicans rigged it in favor of Trump. We can infer that pretty easily.
We're not talking about so this is a very simplistic view. The political parties don't just exist to rig an election. There could be a million other things that they rig, right? It might be related to gerrymandering. It might be related to...
Okay, but we're focused on how they fucked Bernie over. That's what we're concerned about, isn't
That's
it?
the only thing you care about for the political parties? That's
Bernie,
whether or not you
Destiny, as a fellow Bernie supporter, veteran from 2016, of course that's what I care about. Bernie was our guy. Bernie was our fucking guy, man. He was our vision for America.
Sure.
That is what I care about, man.
I understand what you're saying. I have a far more vested interest in politics than whether or not the one guy that I support wins one election.
But Bernie represented the people, Destiny. He represented the people
why did he lose in
against...
2020 so hard then?
What's that?
Why did he lose so hard in 2020 then?
You want me to tell you my red pill answer?
Sure.
I think the left fucked Bernie over 2020.
How?
Because I think they didn't humble themselves and learn the consequences and lessons from Trump in 2016. They doubled down on a completely artificial, fake left extremism. They doubled down on all this dumb Antifa stuff and all this kind of socialism aspect, but they don't know what socialism is in America. It's still kind of foreign. They doubled down on all of that kind of stuff, and they were Bernie's campaign was run by metropolitan elites who didn't establish any contact with America's flyover states and Rust Belt. The people, the American people, they didn't reach out to these people. They were still insular, kind of in their bubble, and that was the extent to which they were pushed more left. They were so isolated from regular Americans. This is why I think they fumbled the ball.
The majority of the left would have been on board with Bernie in 2016, but his campaign was that radically different in 2020 that he lost the support of the party.
Yes, because after Trump won, it radicalized a lot of people and pushed them farther to the left. Okay, so supposedly, I think it's a complete fake left, but it made them more.
If they pushed them farther to the left, how in the hell did Biden,
Look,
who is quite the moderate
Destiny,
Democrat,
I know you're a
win?
good faith guy, so just understand the meaning of what I'm trying to say. When I say pushed farther left, I mean within the context of America. They were pushed farther to the democratic socialism kind of thing. They doubled down on that kind of stuff. They didn't learn the lessons of Trump 2016. Instead of doubling down on pro-people populism for America's majority, they doubled down on something that only makes sense for a minority of educated, metropolitan, professional, managerial class type people. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I mean, like, that's nice conjecture, but we don't really have any proof of any of that, so I don't know. I can only go by, like, polling data.
You don't think that's a reasonable thing to say based on your common sense?
I think that common sense, if I appeal to Occam's razor here, it's probably just that Bernie was too far left in 2016, and he was too far left in 2020. America in general wants a more moderate candidate.
This is
I think
the
that's
problem
pretty
with the
simple, and it
political...
explains almost everything that happened without needing, like,
this is the
crazy
issue with the
conspiracy
political spectrum. It's not that Destiny was more too far. There's completely different meaning of the left in 2016 because a lot of conservatives and moderates were backing Bernie because he was the anti-establishment guy. They don't care about this artificial political spectrum. They care about where he stands concretely in relation to this antagonism, this contradiction between...
Do you think anti-establishment got less popular for 2020?
I think it was extremely obfuscated by the fact that Trump won and there was an artificial political division where it seemed like the left is on the side of the status quo and it seemed like Trump was the one monopolizing the populistic sentiment. That's
but Trump got so many more votes in 2020 than he did in 2016. It doesn't seem like he...
Well, that's for my point. Isn't that for my point?
Well, no, because you're trying to say that because my question is why? Where did all the people that support Bernie went? Why is it that they seem
they went to Trump? They went to Trump.
Okay, I don't think there's any polling data that supports that. But
yeah, a lot of Bernie people from 2016 went to Trump. You don't know about that? They voted for Trump a lot of them voted for Trump in the 2016.
I like to attack Bernie supporters a ton, and if that was true, I'd be using it to attack Bernie.
Wait! You don't know that in 2016, Bernie's Michigan supporters, a lot of them went and voted for Trump against Hillary.
When you say a lot, I don't think that there were a lot.
I'm not saying most, but a pretty significant amount, right?
I think it was in the low. It was like 10 or 12%.
That's a lot, dude. That's a lot, especially because of the political spectrum divide. How do you account for that with the political spectrum?
Around in primaries, not necessarily. I don't think it was like this massive blowout that people were expecting.
You don't think there was a wronged Bernie to Trump pipeline? There was, dude.
Okay.
You don't think there was?
I, this is like conjecture that I don't care
But
about.
you don't, but forget about the polling data. You don't think there was?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there were some disenfranchised voters. I'm sure.
But you don't think that's a real connection in reality that was made?
I mean, I'm sure it is to some extent. Sure, it just doesn't seem very big picture to me. That's
See
just
what
like
happens
a
when you use
particular-
common sense? It makes reality clear. You know,
Yeah,
you can't approach it in a robotic way, man. By the way, I like talking to you way more than Vosh, and I'm a Tankie, by the way.
Okay.
But what I'm confused about with you, Destiny, is that as far as I know, like, why did you? I get that you were disillusioned with the left and stuff, but why did you go down the route of like defending Kamala and defending, you know, like the liberal establishment? Aren't you a guy from Nebraska? So you should be down with the populism and stuff, right?
Populism is AIDS. I'm not a big populist supporter.
Why not?
Because it rots the brain.
Destiny,
I think
don't
there's
you
probably more to
understand-
politics than a
don't you
really
understand that-
naive view of us versus them?
Destiny, don't you understand that the form of media that you participate in is inherently populistic? You're outside of the mainstream media. Haven't you ever pondered upon that contradiction? In content, your political content, you kind of seem very pro-establishment, pro-status quo type of guy, like, for example, with the Wall Street bets whole type of thing. But in actual form,
How about
you're-
okay? Running this as a narrative is cancerous. If there's like a particular position that I've given that you disagree with, or a particular policy that I've given you disagree with, then you can point for that. But like the telling stories is something that I reserve
Okay.
for
As
that
far as
time. Like,
policy,
yeah, give me
is
something.
concerned.
Because this is
Yeah.
like we can all spin stories. I can't engage much with this. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You want to go down that route? That's okay. So as far as policies are concerned, let's see. So after Bernie was fucked over by the Democratic Party both times.
By Democratic Party, you mean the voters that didn't vote for him? Yeah. Go ahead.
No, by the Democratic Party who fucked him over. They weren't fair. Even if he wasn't the more popular candidate, they didn't play fair. They didn't play fair.
Well, how did they not play fair in 2020?
In 2020, because what about that whole Pete Buttigieg fuckery that was going on in Iowa, huh?
What fuckery?
The story that was coming out, they pretty much, in politically correct terms, there's a lot of indications to suggest there was a lot of rat fuckery going on in favor
There
of
were
Pete.
zero indications to suggest that.
I disagree.
That's great, but the record.
I disagree. There are a lot of indications that
Okay.
do that.
What else? If you want to talk about the shadow app, we can. But I mean, like, it depends on how conspiracy theory ridden you want to get into that. The true takeaway from Iowa that we should all know is that caucuses suck, and you should never want to use a caucus.
Do you believe any
know?
conspiracies are real, or because it seems like every time there's a conspiracy theory, you automatically want to side with the conclusion that it's bullshit?
I mean, if there's like evidence for a conspiracy, then yeah, of course, conspiracies happen, sure.
Like what conspiracies? Name some.
Well, I mean, like the Iran Contra stuff happened.
But even if I turn
Iraqi war
CNN,
investigation
though,
happened.
but CNN will admit all those things happened. Is there anything you think that the establishment covers up and won't admit that's a conspiracy?
I think in this particular media environment, I think it's very hard to cover stuff up. A lot of stuff has been leaked. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of cell phone videos. There's a lot. I think that like trying to cover up stuff in today's media environment
for
is very
example,
difficult.
were it not for WikiLeaks, would you be what you're saying is true? WikiLeaks is the reason for that, Destiny. If we didn't have WikiLeaks, we wouldn't know about all these things.
So you say all these things. WikiLeaks leaked thousands of emails, and the one thing that we found was that the Donna Brazil lady leaked interview questions to Hillary's campaign.
There
Now,
was
that's not
other
good.
stuff too, man.
That's
I
not good.
don't have
But
it ready at
considering
hand.
everything, I'm kind of surprised they didn't find more.
There was other stuff. Don't get it twisted. There was other stuff. There was the stuff about how. What did they say about they want to kneecap Bernie? Who said that? That one weirdo guy.
What, do you think they actually
with
wanted
that
to
stuff?
kill him?
No, but I mean like they wanted to rat fuck and kneecap him using their institutional contacts and their MSM, their web of bullshit.
Okay.
Come on, man. Be more like. I thought we are gonna have a debate. You're just accepting everything I'm saying.
I can't I like to debate policy, and I like to debate like stuff like that, like going over the like.
Okay,
crazy
I want to debate your
conspiracies
philosophy then. Can I debate that philosophy?
Sure.
Because when you debate policy, you assume a type of God's eye view where you're already in charge. But here's the paradox: as a Marxist-Leninist who's used to this kind of stuff, except when it comes to communism, even leftists get this wrong. When you just assume what do I want my policies to be and what do I want my society to be, you are neglecting the actual concrete mechanism by which that is able to be realized. You have a lot of bright ideas, I'm sure, in terms of policy, Destiny, just like Andrew Yang did. But unless you have a populistic momentum that can somehow bypass and overcome the establishment, you're stuck with our wretched and rotting status quo, which I'm sure you recognize as outdated, wretched, and rotting.
In what regard?
Like, you can't just say, I want this to be the policy. You have to take into account, how can this policy concretely be implemented? You can't just say everyone's stupid and I'm smart because they don't agree with me. You have
That's
to.
not what I do. Hold on. Do you understand that that's exactly what you're doing?
Why?
That's the exact. Because all you want to do is talk about your broad overview ideas of things and say that people are missing this. I'm the one that wants to talk about.
No, you're missing it. I think people I talk to in everyday life.
Which one is better?
No, don't get it twisted. People I talk to in everyday life get it. I'm saying you miss it.
Okay.
Bro, come on, be hostile. Don't just accept. Like, I don't want it to be this easy.
It's not easy. We're not having like a real conversation right now.
Yes, we are, man. I'm talking to you as a human being.
Yeah, but I don't know what I'm supposed to say to this. Fuck, I got so turned off from these.
Is it because I don't have enough clout for you to take my argument seriously?
No, it's just
because we're growing very fast, if that's the issue.
Are really stupid and really boring. Like, I don't know.
Okay, explain why it's stupid. Why is it stupid? Go ahead.
Because this is so far removed from what exists right now in the political reality. Like, we might as well be arguing about like whether Star Wars or Star Trek.
Okay. You want to know what I think exists right now?
This has nothing to do with what's going on in reality.
Let me tell you what I think
right
exists now. What I think exists now is that Biden establishment has consolidated. This new centrist establishment, aligned with Silicon Valley, has consolidated itself, and now infrared is intervening because we want to create a new political platform. Tell
me about your new political platform.
Okay, sure. So infrared, we call ourselves Marxist-Leninists in the age of multipolarity in the post-COVID world. We think that now is a ripe opportunity to intervene in the political sphere and put out an alternative to the fake bread.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about the alternative? What are some things that you guys push for that you feel like the mainstream's not pushing for?
Push for in terms of what?
What do you want to do?
Well, the thing is, Destiny, is that things like Medicare for All, well-established policy proposals that people who are smarter than me have already come up with, because I'm not pretending to be so smart that I'm going to be able to create all the policies on my own. I do say things like, though, let's learn from China. Let's be more like China. China's civilization and form of statehood is superior to ours. We should learn from how they deal with problems that we similarly face, as we can see with the COVID crisis, as we could see with the ineptitude of the American state in relationship to Texas. Have you heard of Caleb Maupin? Caleb Maupin speaks of the need of a government of action for working families. Infrared believes that too.
Okay. Fuck. I didn't bring my meme energy to this conversation. Why are you standing up while you're talking to me?
I'm standing up because I don't know. I'm just at a more rested state this way. It's like my energy is being diffused because like if I was sitting down, I'd probably be more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Look how beautiful our channel is. Isn't it beautiful?
They can't even see your face on the camera. Why not turn the camera up a little bit?
There we go. Is that better?
Hold on, I'm waiting for it to catch up. Hold on, I'm still waiting.
Now you can see me. You can see me.
Fuck, I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I've been too immersed
Destiny,
in
what are some
and I'm losing my online edge.
Destiny, what are some controversial ideas that are non-mainstream that you think as a policy should be?
Hold on, I just asked you for a platform and you just like gave me the biggest like nothing salad in the world.
It's Bernie's platform and it's the platform of the progressives that have already I don't think I'm smart enough to create a platform in contrast
then
to
why are you creating a new platform then? Isn't that essentially what you're saying by
you mean a political platform or a media platform? We are creating a media platform.
No, a political platform. You said that you have a whole new political platform. Tell me about it. What do you want to do
Okay,
differently
okay,
than
okay.
currently existing political platforms? Why do you
Yeah,
find
yeah.
it necessary to create a whole new
We
one?
think that a contemporary Marxism-Leninism can clarify the reasons why Bernie failed in 2020 and why the progressive
How?
movement has
Can
been.
you tell me how?
How? Well,
Yes.
firstly, this is why I think Marxism-Leninism is specifically relevant. One of the contradictions we're dealing with when it comes to 2020 and Bernie's platform is this issue of the fact that the people who are becoming enlightened about socialism and democratic socialism are in material reality estranged from the broad masses of people who are necessary to actually realize their position. It's a paradox. On the one hand, you have people claiming to represent America's working class, but on the other hand, the very means by which you can be initiated into this new ideology requires you to be part of a special little insulated metropolitan club that's divorced from America's working people. And in my view, things like the materialist dialectic allow you to clarify this contradiction and overcome it.
Wait, can I real quick? Are you
Yeah.
friends with a streamer called Denims?
Our friends is a little bit of a stretch, but I have interacted with him.
With him?
With them, I said them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Apparently, you come highly recommended from Denims. I thought that was funny. I have the.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, my debate with Vosh was very aggressive, but that's because you're so disrespectful, and you've been so respectful. Honestly, you've been so respectful. I'm surprised. I thought you'd been worse.
Oh well, thanks.
Vosh was really dismissive to me, really disrespectful, because, Tankies, they think they can disrespect us, but it's not going to happen anymore with infrared, because we're rising. Tankies, they're going to put some respect on our name.
Wait, is Vosh a tanky?
No, he disrespect me because I'm a tankie, because he think
okay.
tankies are weak, but tankies are the new strong. You understand?
I didn't know that. Well, what elections are you guys gunning for in the U.S.? How are you going to grow your political power?
For now, we want to clarify the reality, the situation. That's what we think is a media.
What does that mean when you say clarify? Do you just want to
media
publish a
platform.
book, or do you want to have a YouTube
We
channel?
think there are confusions that bog down, first and foremost, partisans of leftism and socialism. We want people to be able to comfortably establish contact with America's broad masses and build a true popular alternative to the Democrats and the two-party system, which is now merging into a one-party centrist consensus. We're all about Jimmy Dore, and we're all about that royal road to a new party. We're humble, though. We're not saying we got all the answers or we're going to create a new party. We just want to help this objective momentum that we see in reality, this objective striving and tendency for a truly new alternative in American politics, which is a platform that will be able to realize a lot of crazy cool ideas. Like Andrew Yang's got ideas. I'm sure you got a lot of bright ideas, but you're not going to ever be able to realize them as long as we have this rotten establishment.
Has anyone ever told you kind of sound like a cult leader?
Okay, that's fine. What about me? Why am I a cult leader and not you? Go ahead.
Well, because I try to keep what I say grounded in the real world, and every time I ask you a question about what it is you guys stand for, what you want to do, or what you
Okay, what's so unreal? What's so unreal about what I'm saying?
You haven't told me any material thing you guys have done yet. Have you formed a party in any particular?
To you, what qualifies as a material thing? I
don't know. Have you supported a candidate? Have you formed a party in any state? Have you guys organized in any area? Do you guys have positions that you stand for and lobby for?
But that's precisely not material, because we recognize our limitation. We can support whoever we want, but first and foremost, we have to realize our limitations as far as who's going to listen to us, right?
And who's going to listen to you right now?
A lot of people, dude. 2 days ago, I had 400 subscribers. I doubled it. I have 200 viewers right now, and my chat is more active than yours, both on Twitch and YouTube. My chat is more active. Why do you think we had this debate right now? I'm a nobody because of my chat. They're so hyperactive. That's why I debated Vosh on Saturday and Xanderthal on Friday. How do you think a nobody like me is able to debate somebody like you, if not for that?
Well, because somebody messaged me on Discord and they said, Infrared wants to debate. Denim said she wants both of you to debate. Here's the guy. And then I said, okay, sure.
But you didn't see any of my people in your chats? I don't know. I actually don't know. I genuinely don't tell them to.
There might have been. I was having a more serious conversation before this one, so they might have been in there. I just missed them.
But Vosh and Xanderthal, that's how I debated them. It's all been in one weekend. Don't you realize it's kind of crazy? We are the future, man. We're not going nowhere. I'm not a cult leader. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know who John Zerka is? Just curious.
Yeah.
Oh, are you guys friends?
I'm not gonna disclose nothing.
Okay.
Was okay. Moving on. Moving on to the point. I'm actually not a cult leader, Destiny, because Infrared is a collective of about 11, 12 people. I'm just the guy who's stupid enough to put myself out like this because I got nothing to lose and I just want to grow this because this is what I believe in right now. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So what are your plans to grow? When you say grow this, you just mean get more subs on your YouTube channel?
Well, it's happening now. Like, this is an example of doing it, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking what you mean by grow it. You mean just get more subs on your YouTube channel, right?
No, and Twitch. We want to do Twitch and YouTube.
Okay, fair.
Like, what do you think about Infrared intervening in the political sphere and shaking it all up? Like, who do you support, BreadTube or Infrared? Because that's the battle that's being waged right now. And we're going to probably have another debate in the future when we get bigger, but who do you side with right now in this civil war that's going on among the left?
I don't know. That's a hard one to think about. Both sides are so powerful here, you know?
Yeah, but like, we're the underdog, right?
I don't know, man. I think you might be discounting how much power you guys have. Like, I've been in some BreadTubers chats, and they're not even half as active as your chat is.
You're not lying. You're not even being sarcastic. You can't be sarcastic, man. Look at our chat.
It's insane.
Our Twitch chat isn't. Our YouTube chat is. Not our Twitch, our YouTube. Our Twitch chat is a little bit. We have about, 100 viewers? It's our Twitch chat. I mean, it's our YouTube chat. But, yeah, we are going to become a thing is what I'm trying to say. So, like, before, like, I don't want you to come out one day and be like, these guys are dangerous. They should be deplatformed. Because, like, ahead of time, like, just assume we're already really big. Do you think we're dangerous? We'd be deplatformed?
Should he be deplatformed? Man, I don't know. That's a whole other question.
You think we're dangerous? Like, are you worried about us?
Yeah, you guys will definitely become dangerous for sure.
Really? You think so?
Oh yeah, I mean,
why?
If your chat's this active at this small of a number, imagine if you had 1,000 viewers and you kept the same chat activity.
Yeah,
like,
I
you'd
know.
Be more dangerous than streams with like 20,000 viewers for sure, right?
Yeah. But we're gonna shake up the whole political culture. It's happening.
Definitely.
And you're not being sarcastic, are you? I hope you're not.
I mean, we can all see what I'm saying. It's true, right?
Of course. I mean, if you saw how fast we grew and we've been growing. You know, like, you've been at this for like 15 years and we just started like a few months ago. You know what I'm saying?
And your chat's basically like at my level of activity, which is pretty crazy considering I've got so many more viewers. So yeah.
Yeah. So basically, in this debate, not to resume hostilities, but can I just say you conceded the debate?
I think that's fair. Yeah.
So, like, I beat you in this debate, basically. You don't want to, like, fight back or anything?
I don't know if I even can. I mean, everything you've said has just been so true, you know?
Oh, so you're pretending to be sarcastic because you can't actually beat me in a debate?
I think sometimes people pretend to be sarcastic so they can hide behind it. It's a crutch.
That seems like what you're doing now.
Exactly. So I can just say, like, oh, I didn't lose the debate. And someone's like, well, you kind of did. It's like, well, I was just being sarcastic, right?
Yeah, so but are you actually admitting you lost? Because I respect you if you did that.
Yeah, that's what I've said like 20 times.
And you're not being sarcastic. Really?
Well, I kind of sound sarcastic, but I know I'm being sarcastic. So, like, does it really count as sarcasm if I know I'm being sarcastic as a defensive tool, right?
Can you slow down a little bit? I just lost you there.
If I'm being sarcastic, and we both know that I'm being sarcastic, then it's not really sarcasm, right? So maybe I'm just being defensive. But maybe me acknowledging it right now is a way to get around that. Or maybe that's just still admitting it. Who knows?
Bro, come on,
right?
Destin. You're the titan of, like, take me down, man. Like, show me what you got.
Honest to God, I don't think I've ever been this intimidated in a conversation.
I don't
know if I can.
I thought you were against, like, the left. And maybe it's just like the BreadTube left is your problem, right? Maybe if you were educated in Marxism, Leninism, you'd join us.
What do you have for a recommended reading? I guess so I can get a little bit more educated on this.
For real? No
Yeah.
way.
Tell me.
Okay, I think philosophy is what you want to do, right? Because you like philosophy, right?
Oh yeah, you wanted to argue about philosophy. What did you have?
I always tell beginners who want to get into this Marxism stuff, honest to God, I don't agree with him 100%. But Zizek is such a nice introduction. Because he connects everything to popular culture and stuff, but you have to read him with an open mind. You know, you can't just say, oh, this is nonsense like the analytical school does to all the continental thinkers. You have to actually read him and, like, try to see the meaning he's trying to arrive at, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But he'll introduce you to this kind of tradition, this stuff. Yeah, I don't tell people, like, for example, to read the classics of Marxism, Leninism, because those were written 100 years ago. In today's day and age, they don't really make sense immediately, right?
What are, real quick, because I know Capital, obviously, what are some other classics of Marxist Leninism again?
Well, since we're talking about Marxism, Leninism, you have things like, one of the most famous ones is Lenin's Imperialism, the Highest Stage. People like The State and the Revolution. I think a kind of neglected one is Lenin's the development of capitalism in Russia was a really good one that a lot of people neglect, and I think actually has contemporary relevance for the situation in America and the rest.
Can
of
you,
the world. Yeah.
when you say that, what are some of the contemporary relevance you think of Lenin's work?
Sure. So with regard to the development of capitalism in Russia, is that where you want to begin?
Yeah.
Lenin is very interesting because traditionally with Marxists, you have a kind of dogmatic, static view of class, and you say the proletariat are the ones in the factories, the peasants are the ones in the countryside, and the bourgeoisie are the urban, whatever, capitalists, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Lenin,
in his brilliance, because he was a materialist, Lenin saw that the fundamental class division between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie was itself being reproduced in the countryside. Among the peasants, the fundamental differentiations that give rise to class, as far as Marxism are concerned, were being born anew and afresh. So Lenin had this kind of view of class. He didn't simply say the proletariat are already the ones in the factories, or they're already the big city bourgeoisie. The reason Lenin was a successful revolutionary is because for him, he rejected the stagism according to which, this is Vosch's stagism, by the way, Vosch's position, that socialists must side with the big city, big liberal bourgeoisie against Tsarism, or in Vosch's case, authoritarianism or fascism or something. For Lenin said it is the popular, democratic petite bourgeoisie in the countryside, the peasants. They are the ones who the proletariat must ally with because the liberal bourgeoisie is inexorably connected to the autocracy. The contemporary relevance of this, I think, is that a lot of people don't recognize, and this is kind of, I guess, my unique, I don't want to say it's my own unique, it's all of our as infrared. Our view of Marxism is that we don't view the peasantry as a class of as a strict class. In a sense, the only two real classes in Marxism are the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. The peasantry, rather than a class, is a formation, is the material, is the popular reality of the polity, political polity of some kind. It's the popular basis of states, for example. So in America, you have a type of peasantry. We call this the so-called Rust Belt working classes. This was the kind of middle class of the post-war baby boomer 20th century who had, a factory job, and then they had they had their proverbial plot of peasant land. They had the, the white picket fence and the family and all that kind of stuff. So this is a kind of rebirth of the peasantry, So it has a...
Wait, I'm just curious, insofar as how that world is established.
Which world?
Do you think that that world is flat or round?
Which world? Okay, Destiny. What? Like?
I'm just curious. Because I know that some people would argue that the bourgeois might use scientific institutions to oppress the proletariat. That they give them, false interpretations of reality.
And what language have I used to allow you to dismiss me in such a dishonest?
I was just curious.
What language have I used so far that justifies the meanness and dismissiveness that you're showing me here, Destiny?
I'm not being mean or dismissive. Okay. It was just a simple question.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I upset you so much with it.
I mean, is there an argument? Can anyone debate me and beat me? Is my question.
I would look up a streamer on Twitch called John Zerka. He's like the best. Or Trainwrecks does he does analytical philosophy.
Why are you hiding your power level? Why are you being so arrogant?
What are you talking about?
You seem like you're bluffing.
I'm legitimately telling you.
You seem like you're bluffing. How did we get from you trying to call my bluff about Marxism, which I use as an opportunity to introduce some new ideas? How did we get to that, from that to flat Earth? It's kind of arrogant, just because I don't sound like a fucking nerd, and I don't sound like a fucking
I'm sorry, I'm not even allowed to ask you a question without you getting upset about it?
You think that was a good faith question? You were being honest when you asked that question?
Yeah, of course it was. I was just curious. It helps me gauge your interest in the sciences. It helps me understand.
Okay, I think this is a controversial view of mine. I think Lysenko was kind of right.
Yeah?
Yeah. That you can laugh at me and dismiss you for that one. That's like one of the ones that a lot of people like you would laugh at me about,
Do you believe all genetics are fake, or just
what is a gene?
Well, it depends. Are you talking Levi's or?
Do you think Lysenko denied DNA?
A little bit. Yeah.
Oh, did he? Did he now? But DNA wasn't invented until much later, after the debate.
Invented or discovered?
Sorry, discovered much later. Who cares? I misspoke. It wasn't discovered till much later. So he
Maybe it
couldn't have
wasn't
been
invented.
denying DNA. Now, could he have been?
Huh.
Why is it that American scientists were sympathetic to Lysenko until the Cold War pretty much, ramped up? Why is that?
Do you think it was like politically motivated?
Of course it was. And explicitly so, you can read about how it was explicitly true. They thought Lysenko, by defeating Lysenko, they would be defeating Marxism as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Explicitly, their own words, something like along those. I'll try to find the book and send it to you if you want. It's not written by a Lysenkoist. It's written by someone who doesn't like Lysenkoism. But it's like a broad history of the debate between the Mendelian geneticists and the Lysenkoists, and how it was playing out in America. It's an excellent book. Completely non-communist.
Partisan.
Well, if it's partisan, it's in favor of the West. It's in favor of the Mendelian geneticists. A gene is a metaphysical concept, Destiny.
Really?
Of course.
Gotcha. You in that scientific anti-realism or whatever?
No, you don't need to bring all this other stuff into it.
Okay, I was just curious.
Are you familiar with Lysenko's writings? Let me ask you a question. How much about Lysenko do you know to dismiss him as quickly as you do?
To dismiss him?
Yeah.
My understanding was that Lysenko wasn't real big on kind of like the newly emerging information about how agriculture worked, that they kind of rejected the notion of genes or inherited traits or whatever, and they were looking at more like non-Mendelian inheritances and other ways.
Was Lysenko rejecting inherited traits?
Insofar as how it was described by contemporary biologists at the time, yeah. They might have had some other way of doing it, but my understanding was that
were those contemporary biologists right, completely right?
Not completely, but they were more right than Lysenko was.
And how do you measure that? How do you come to that conclusion?
Based on agricultural output, based on the
do you think the present knowledge scientists have about how so-called genes work is not ridden with contradiction? That knowledge is pretty much said and done and sealed? Do you know what modern evolutionary synthesis is?
Do you think that all things that are wrong are the same level of wrongness?
I didn't say that, but since you haven't read...
do you think that it's possible that one person can be wrong, but another person can be more wrong?
Since you haven't read a word of Lysenko's, and you're not actually familiar with any of Lysenko's ideas, I'm just curious about how you arrive at these seemingly...
Well, has anything I said so far been wrong? You seem to keep asking me questions. I don't think I was incorrect on anything.
I'm just curious about how you've arrived...
Did Lysenko stand in contradiction to what biologists or agriculturalists thought of at the time for how plants inherited traits?
I'm just curious about how you've arrived at that. How have you arrived at that conclusion? It's quite curious.
Wikipedia article here, Plato.Stanford link here. You know how it goes.
And you think without reading the other side, you've arrived at an exhaustive knowledge of the subject matter?
I would consider myself to be quite the expert on Lysenkoianism. Yeah.
I didn't say that, but do you really think you've read enough to arrive at a fair conclusion to dismiss me and laugh at me when I bring up Lysenkoism? I want to ask both you and the whole...
Well, I wasn't dismissing you. Were laughing at you. I was dismissing...
You were laughing when I brought up Lysenkoism, and I only brought it up because we do need to get this debate going, because I do need some hostility from you. I'm feeling bad right now because I've been trying to argue with you, and you seem to just passively accept everything I say, and it makes me feel kind of bad. I want some...
Well, I have like 3 other like really big content things I could be going over right now that I'm really...
Show me some teeth, Destiny. What is going on?
I'm getting like the John Zerka's version of like lefty debates, so I'm not very energized for this particular thing.
Why not? But once we become big, you'll be energized, right?
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah, I think
about as
so.
energized I was for my I Hypocrite debate. Like, it was just kind of sad.
But Destiny.
Yeah, that's my name.
You don't even want to defeat me? Show some teeth, my friend.
God, you sound just like Zerka.
Okay.
You might actually be Zerka. I'm not wholly convinced that you aren't.
No.
What'd that guy donate? Why don't you read any of these?
I don't have donations, and we haven't monetized our shit yet.
Oh shit! How is the revolution going to start if we're not making any fucking paper?
What up, 6? I got too many followers right now. I just got like a bunch of followers, man. Too many to count.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't read them all out, but so I think this is what's going on, Destiny. Because
Yeah,
we're
tell me.
so new to the game, you don't feel like we're enough of a threat to actually want to have any type of debate with us. But once we do become big and we become a thing, like we become bigger than Vosh and all them people, you know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden you're gonna want to have blood sport debate with me, right?
We'll see. Okay.
I mean, you know I defeated Vosh though, right? So
I
I
heard
pretty
you
much the
defeated
new
Vosh.
big guy in town. Like
Didn't
I
you do like 50K overnight on that video?
who?
You on that Vosh debate, I thought.
Not 50K, but I defeated him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you don't gotta worry about Vosh no more. He's yesterday's guy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's debate about something.
Who do you think was a better fighter, Naruto or Sasuke?
No, let's debate about something real politically. Something you're passionate about politically.
Oh man,
Why do you think Russia intervened in 2016? How did they fucking meaningfully intervene? Let's go with that.
Why or how?
How is it not a ideological spin to call that an intervention into our democratic process? Don't you think that's a little bit misleading? It kind of has the connotation that they were like rigging the fucking election machines or something when they were just spreading memes.
I never said they were rigging the election.
But why does the media spin it that way when all they were fucking doing is sharing
media
memes?
said that.
How does it constitute intervention in another nation's election when the internet is supposed to be free and open according to the liberal ideology?
That doesn't mean that you're allowed to hack into databases to publish information.
So that's the extent of Russia's intervention, or is it the fake news? Which one?
Probably both. I think there were indictments related to both of those things.
Why could there be okay, I want to focus on fake news then. Why was there an indictment related to fake news?
Because they set up a fake company in the United States. They didn't disclose that they were getting foreign funding. And then they were using that to influence Americans' opinions on the news.
Okay, and isn't that what the free and open internet is according to the liberal ideologists of internet policy within the United States? It's a free and open internet. Therefore, it's just now they're trying to change it and become more like China. Too late. Liberalism lost. Don't you think?
What? Yeah, free and open internet is not foreign companies or foreign countries setting up companies.
Who cares?
Locally.
Who cares who was doing it? Who cares if it was a company?
Well, that's pretty important because.
But
you're not
it's
allowed
just
to do that
information. It's just information on the free and open internet. It doesn't matter if a company's doing it. It doesn't matter if a
but
country's
it's information
doing it.
that's expressly trying to undermine the
It
integrity.
does.
of
Why does the
government.
intention matter? Is my question. Why does the intention matter?
Because that's what the law. Well, legally, because that's what we've decided is laws, and then morally or ethically.
Wait.
probably
Where
another
legally?
country-
Where legally is the intention what matters?
When you're getting payments from foreign actors to engage in political work, there's political disclosings, there's filings that need to be made.
So funding memes on the internet is political work, according to America's laws.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
Okay, that seems a bit arbitrary now, don't you think? And it seems a little bit illiberal. How can information constitute the intention of intervening into a country's election?
How can information intervene? Well,
On the free and
you're-
open internet, yeah.
I think
you don't have to look at the memes. It's like, bro, just turn off your computer and walk away. Just turn off the computer and walk away.
Just go read Mueller's indictments. You can Google it right now. Mueller.
I listen. Everything I've seen on this RussiaGate bullshit has been a lot of words talking about nothing, alluding to things, nothing concrete, nothing concrete.
What do you mean? There are
whatsoever.
concrete indictments. There's like a dozen indictments.
Yes, there was a whole legal show, but the substance of that legal show was nothing. About what was it?
What do you mean? It lays out very clearly from start
Yes,
to finish.
it
how, like,
uses
produce
so
crap.
much language to say Russians were sharing memes on the internet. Who gives a fuck?
Okay.
You agree it's stupid that they call it intervention?
Not as dumb as your mom is.
But you agree it's stupid they call it intervention, right?
No.
Why not?
Go read the indictments, okay? Listen.
You're telling me to go read the indictments, but I'm talking
I love
to you.
you.
I'm talking to you, Destiny. Why should I read the indictments? How did Russia intervene?
I've already told you like 5 times.
You didn't tell me. I told you, how is it that posting memes on the internet, on the free and open internet, this was the liberal ideologists of internet policy who were calling China's one outdated. Turns out China's one was more advanced. Now we all accept that. But according to that view, The only sovereignty that exists on the internet, for example, is that you can set up your own website. You can censor it on that basis. You can do it on that basis. And then they also have laws against things like child. I don't want to say anything bannable, but they have those kinds of laws, and against snuff stuff. So there are regulations about what you can and can't share. But as far as political speech is concerned, don't you think this is something unprecedented? Trying to regulate political speech in this type of way just because of the
What do you
intention.
mean political speech is heavily regulated already? There's all sorts of
On the
rules
internet?
relating. Yes.
So when there's nothing relating to violence, when there's nothing relating to that matter, how is political... Educate me, I don't know this actually.
Sure. If you're a 501c3, for instance, you can't engage in any type of political messaging whatsoever.
What's
If you're
that?
501c4,
I'm a stupid guy. What's a 501c3?
It's a filing that you do for an organization that makes it so that all the money that you earn is tax exempt. But there's heavy restrictions in terms of the language that you're allowed to use and the messaging you're allowed to do related to it. You can have a 501c4 that's allowed to engage in a certain level of political messaging, but you still need to make and then as individuals, when you donate to campaigns, you've got to make filings.
With the 501c, for example, is it just that they can't engage in political messaging with their brand, or they can't use, for example, let's say they rent out an office downtown and they all have computers. Like, tell me the intricacies of how it works. Isn't it that they just can't use their brand to do it, or what?
I don't know. I'm going to be able to give you like a detailed breakdown of everything because I'm not going to be able to tell you that.
But you have to listen. Even these NYT, CNN.
What I'm telling you is that if you engage in work on behalf of a political campaign, there are filings that have to be done there.
Okay, sure, but
So,
how is that? How is, for example, let's say you're on the job and you're going on your phone and you're spreading political memes. Like, how do you determine whether it's related to the organization that is prohibited from doing it or not? Is my question.
Oh, I guess that's up to your personal discretion and then the discretion of the FEC if they investigate you.
Okay, but you don't think it's an unprecedented development in the history of internet policy in the United States? They're now having this issue of fake news, and now they're going to clamp down on political speech in this unprecedented way, trying to use it in a legal way. Because even CNN and NYT are noting the significance of that. You seem to be denying it. I'm interested why.
Are noting the significance of not having foreign actors setting up fake businesses in the United States in order to mislead Americans.
That's a complete...
I don't think anybody disagrees that that's a bad thing.
It's completely irrelevant that they were setting up businesses. What matters is what they were doing on the internet, on the surface level of the internet. It doesn't matter that they had businesses. Who cares? And they're always focusing on the intentions. The Russians want this. Putin wants this. Nothing would please Putin better. Who cares what Putin wants? Why is that legally relevant?
Hold on. Are you being real? I can't tell if this is a real conversation or not.
Why can't you tell it's a real conversation?
Okay, can I talk for 2 seconds then without you cutting me off?
Yeah, go ahead.
How can you not understand that a foreign country, by the direction of their government, that establishes fake corporations inside your own country, that betrays your own FEC filing laws, that has a strict set of regulations around how you're allowed to advertise things on the internet related to politics, okay? How can you not tell that that's something that is wrong and should be avoided?
Because all those things you just mentioned...
Wait, let me finish. Please, let me finish. I asked for like two minutes, okay? It's not even going to take 2 minutes, okay? Why would you compare those activities, okay, of a foreign government that is misleadingly and illegally creating a corporation to spread memes on the internet to mislead people in politics? Why would you compare that to an endemic national corporation doing the same thing that's following all the laws and is morally within the right to spread?
Because by your own admission, all those fucking things you mattered are legally so ambiguous that you can.
They're not ambiguous.
You're using strong language. Who cares if it's a foreign country? Who cares what their intentions were? This is the liberal internet we're talking about, where there's free speech. Now, you couldn't answer the question of how they're allowed to express that speech and how an organization is prohibited from expressing speech on the internet.
Just because there might be some ambiguity around the specifics of what specific thing might need to be reported on a certain form doesn't mean that the entire issue is ambiguous. That is such a reductionist take.
Okay. Let me rephrase it then.
Okay, I can't tell you. So,
in what sense? Why are you mad? Why are you mad? Why are you mad? I'm not mad. Why are you mad? Can you calm down? He left. He lost. He lost. He lost. He lost. DGG. I accept your surrender. I accept Destiny's surrender. It was that easy. I'm gonna see what my chat thinks, first and foremost. My chat, how do you think I did, huh? All off the top of my head, no preparation. I didn't even know what we were gonna talk about. What do you think, my chat? What do you think, chat? What do you think? I mean, I beat him, obviously, in terms of debate standards, but it kind of seems like he was conceding to me. And he wasn't even willing to debate. So he was hiding, he was bluffing. Don't worry, we're going to have a real debate with Destiny. But I destroyed Destiny in this debate. But I want to title this one, Tankie defeats Destiny. Not destroyed. He wasn't destroyed like how I destroyed Vosh. But he was defeated. He was not destroyed, he was defeated. He was dismissing me because of my style and because of my tone. He wasn't engaging fair and square. He was dismissive. He wasn't addressing the arguments. He started soy rage when I brought up how is it that they were intervening. And he said, well, because a foreign actor and all this other... And I asked him, okay, then in what sense are companies prohibited from spreading political messaging? Is it that they're not allowed to do it on behalf of their organization as a brand? Or how do you determine the limits and the thresholds here? I'm a stupid guy. Explain it to me. He couldn't explain it. And I think the reason he can't explain it is because they don't actually know. It's because they don't actually know. This was easy, guys. This was Destiny. I thought this was a smart guy, like the hard guy that everyone struggles with. Like, I thought this is the guy that's like the king of political debate. This is disappointing, man. Like, it was better than Vosh. He was way better than Vosh, but he was so dismissive and shit, you know? But, like, it was kind of disappointing, you know? It was kind of disappointing. Like, I thought this was the, you know, is this easy? Why is it this easy? How would you feel if American companies... They were doing that! After the collapse of the Soviet Union! They were fucking doing that! The CIA was coming in, the post-Soviet... all of the... They're still fucking doing it, man! Don't bring me that shit! I want to debate someone, man! I wish I could have mentioned that in the debate, too. You know, like... I wish I could have brought that up. America does the same shit! We know America does the same shit. We will meet again.